All right, so I just got my brand new Pixel Fold in literally from UPS, and I'm already seeing reports of people getting damaged inner screens, which doesn't make me feel comfortable. So we're gonna do the unboxing, we'll see if there's any damage to my phone, then I'm gonna give you my initial impressions on the phone because this is the very first time I'm going to get to experience it. So let's get started. All right, so here is the Fold. It comes in this nice little box. You don't need anything to open up the package. It's got these little pull tabs on the side. All right, so here is the phone. We'll take that out. Initial impressions. It seems to feel a little bit heavier than the Galaxy Fold 4. So I'll put that off to the side for just a second. See what else we get inside the box here. So it looks like Pixel fooled me. You get like these little boxes on the sides, but they're just filled with more cardboard, so don't mess with this. So basically what it says here is that flexible screens are fragile and you should avoid contact with fingernails, crumbs, sand, and sharp objects. They also say not to remove the pre-installed screen protector and do not install third-party screen protectors either. Here we get some paperwork. Here we have a USB-A to USB Type-C adapter. And it looks like we also get a nice white USB-C to USB Type-C cable. And that's pretty much it. So here is the phone itself. We'll first start off with taking off this wrapper. There is the phone itself. The front screen is noticeably bigger than the Fold itself, but it's a little shorter. I'd rather have a more usable wide screen than anything else, which is pretty nice, but it does feel nice in the hand. I can also tell you that it is visibly thinner than the Fold itself as well. There's the back. It's got a nice frosted back, which feels nice and smooth. It does feel good in hand. It doesn't feel overly tall like the Fold does. I definitely think that this feels better than the Fold itself so far. The glass in the front screen feels pretty smooth, which is nice. The metal on the side is shiny, and it is a fingerprint magnet already, as you can see. It's got a nice little vibration to it. Let's open it up, see how that feels. Feels pretty nice. It does have a thick bezel on the top and the bottom and a little thinner bezel on each side, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It definitely protects the screen if it happens to drop. There's how thin it is. This is probably the thinnest foldable phone that I've ever held in my hand. Feels pretty nice. Now there is a slight crease in the middle, which you can see, especially if I hold it in a certain light, but when you're looking at it dead on, you can still see the crease, but it's not horrible. The screen is definitely still usable. Now, as far as the inner screen goes, it's not as smooth as the glass. It does have a slight resistance to it, ever so slightly. It does look like it does pick up some fingerprints. As far as opening and closing, the hinge does feel like there's actually more resistance the more you try to close it, which is kind of cool. As you can see, you can pretty much almost fold it and it still stay in place. It doesn't just fold up. And then when you want to close it totally, there's a nice little satisfying click, and it does make a little noise when you totally close it. Now this whole thing is surrounded and made of metal and glass, and because it's shiny, there are fingerprints all over this thing, as you can see. So you may or may not want to put a case on this. It's definitely usable with two hands as well, which is nice. What I would recommend doing is setting up two sets of fingerprints, one with the screen closed and one with it open, because you're obviously going to use two different fingers depending on if the phone is open or closed. So now I'll do one when it's closed. All right, our fingerprints are all done. All right, so the phone is all set up here. Let's turn up the brightness because it does seem to be down a little bit. All right, so here we have the brightness all the way up, and we can easily see the screen, and I'm inside my studio with all these bright lights on. Touch seems to be really nice. No issues there. It does seem to be pretty snappy, which is nice because it is using last year's hardware. Let's test out the speakers.
It also has a couple main LEDs as well as some auxiliary ones on the side and one LED that you typically do.
So it's definitely loud enough to hear in a quiet environment, and it also does have stereo speakers. The picture quality also looks really nice. And as you can see where the screen starts and stops on the front edge, there's just a slight bezel all the way around the phone. Now let's open it up and we'll see what it looks like there. So it seems to be having some problems just playing back the video, and it closed. So that's nice. Okay, so let's try this one more time. I'm going to start the video on the outside of the screen.
For the iPhone 14 Pro Max, this screen protector is crystal clear.
It's in full screen mode. Now we'll go ahead and open up the phone.
It does
and there we go.
An oleo focus to see how durable the screen protector is. Now, the screen protector does not come with an installation guide, but that's not a huge problem.
So the screen is in 2160p, and as you can see, I just folded the screen a little bit, and the video moved to the top portion of the screen, and on the bottom, you can continue to kind of scroll through videos, which is pretty cool. So the picture quality looks pretty good. I like the fact that when you fold the phone, that the screen goes up to the top screen and leaves the bottom one so you can kind of scroll through the rest of the videos, which is pretty nice. The screen does seem to be, I don't know, it kind of seems like it could be a lot brighter. It does seem to be like kind of dim. It might just be me, but I don't know, maybe it's the contrast ratio or something. It just seems a little different than the Samsung Fold. So on my screen, I don't see any damage. I don't see any scratches whatsoever. So that's definitely good. And the screen is working. Now I do see the screen protector that's on the screen here. We also have a little cutout for our front-facing camera, which is nice. I don't really care for the camera being under the display because you don't get the best picture quality, but it looks better. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you rather have the cutout or the under display camera? Let me know in the comments below. Now, just using this phone for this short period of time, the back of the phone is getting pretty hot, which is concerning. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like that or not, but it's something to note. So now let's test out our fingerprints. Doesn't seem to be working. Let's close up the phone and try that again. And that doesn't work either. So as you see, I do have fingerprint unlock on my phone, and I'm not sure why the fingerprint sensor is not working because I do have my fingerprints both registered. So let's try this again. Okay, so that worked. Wasn't sure why it wasn't working the very first time. That works. Now let's open up our phone and we'll try that. And that works too. Okay. Maybe it was just a glitch. It seems to be working just fine now, and it's actually pretty quick. Perfect. Let's check out the camera. So there is the little camera cutout, and it actually looks super clean. Like, wow, that looks amazing. I'll take a little video so you guys can see. So here is the video on the inside camera. Everything looks pretty clean and clear. Very nice. So at the top here, it does say full HD, and I don't see any way to change that. There's nothing in the settings that I can see, so it might just do 1080p. But either way, it doesn't look too bad. I think it looks pretty good. Now let's check out the rear camera. Let's use the outside portion of the screen. So now I can see myself, and we can also use that rear camera, which is nice. This also says FHD. Let's see, we can change the resolution here to 4K. We have 30 frames, 60 frames per second. Let's check out more of the settings here. Camera resolution, full resolution video. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Not a lot of settings for the resolution. Let's take some video. So camera looks pretty good. I do love the fact that you can use the rear camera and still see yourself. Now, one of the quirks, it seems like the phone is stuck on the outside display, even though the inner display is open, which I'm sure can be fixed. We can just probably close it up and then reopen it again, and it should open on the inside screen, which it does. Just a little annoyance, and it's probably a quirk that can be fixed in the software. Here's the flashlight. So now let's take more of a look in the settings. Here we have our network, connected devices, apps, notifications, battery. It says it's at 73% and I have 15 hours and 41 minutes left. Battery saver is off. Adaptive preferences are both on. Battery percentage, show that in the corner, which is nice. Storage, we have 256, but we have 238 gigabytes free. And if you do decide to put a screen protector on here, I would definitely recommend turning on the screen protector mode to make it more sensitive. So let's test out our face unlock. Super quick, and you can also have it skip your lock screen. So yeah, it does feel nice in the hand. I like how wide it is versus the Fold. This outer screen is definitely way more usable than the thin candy bar style of the Fold 4. Everything's nice and smooth. It's got a nice satisfying sound when you close it up. Sounds very solid and sturdy. Sturdy and rigid, and it only breaks right at the last minute when the phone is closing. So like I said before, you can pretty much open this screen up at it. Now let's see if we can see at what point the screen turns off. Right there. So almost closed. The screen will stay on until it's almost closed. That is really cool. Now for some reason when the phone is open, the face unlock doesn't seem to work. Like it doesn't even try. So the facial recognition does not seem to work when the phone is open, which is weird. You would think that it would work no matter what because it does have a camera on the inside. It may be something that they can fix in the software, maybe not. But as of right now, the face recognition does not work when the phone is open. Then if you notice when you open the phone, there is a point where it kind of snaps open, but you can see that the screen is still slightly bent. Then all you need to do is just bend it back just a little bit more and it seems to straighten out. But you would think that it would automatically open straight right off the bat because bending it back a little more doesn't feel natural. And as you can see, for just using it after this very short time, there are fingerprints all over the screen. Now, just as a little PSA, if you are going to use a SIM card in here, do not poke anything into the top of this phone because this is not a SIM card tray. That is the 5G antenna and the microphone. The SIM tray is actually on the bottom by the charging port. Now for a 5x zoom, this camera seems to be pretty good. We'll put it in 5. And as you can see, it zooms in pretty well and it's actually still pretty clear. So here is the video of the rear camera. Whoa, zoom out, okay. So here is the ultra wide. Again, this is in 4K, looks pretty good. Very nice. All right, just like this. And as far as that hinge goes, it's very, very solid. It's very any angle and it's gonna stay that way. Now, as for my first impressions, it does seem to be a pretty solid phone. Like I said before, I absolutely love the fact that the main screen is a little wider and a little shorter. It definitely feels a lot better in your hand and it makes it a lot more usable. Picture quality seems to be good. It's very snappy and the camera quality is also really nice as well. Now the software does seem to have some quirks in it, but I'm assuming that Google will fix those over time, but again, only time will tell. Now the heating issue of the phone is a little concerning. We all know that heat is not good when it comes to battery life. And because this phone is so brand new, I'm not sure if that's normal or not. Hopefully Google will see this and address the issue. And if you are going to be picking up a Fold yourself, you're definitely going to want to make sure you subscribe because I will be putting out my best and worst cases and screen protectors video. And that's going to give you all the screen protectors and cases you're going to want to see to protect your phone. So if you guys enjoyed this video, it would definitely help out the channel if you give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in the next one.